so honoured to have your time for the next 10 minutes, maybe 11, and the opportunity to speak life over your businesses, but also to remind you that you paid to be here today, okay? I'm sure we all did, unless some of you got in for free. But we also paid to start a business. You chose to have skin in the game, okay? So it's time to act like it. I have a responsibility to be as transparent as possible about where I came from with you, and in doing so, share one of the most vulnerable moments in my life. Of course, see earnings.arbonne.com for what's typical, but who wants to be typical? Anyone in this room? No. Yeah, no. I want you to know me and I want you to see me because we're about to do something life-changing here today, but in order to do that, I think you need to understand me a little bit better. When a new consultant starts their business with me, the first thing we do is define their why. And that why will evolve over time, but right now it's their compass. My personal why comes from two different places, and I'm going to share one of them with you today that I have done a lot of inner work to understand. A huge reason I started my business was to create financial security, independence, and stability, words that were so foreign to me growing up. I couldn't understand why I had such a deep need, not just desire to have this, but I've come to realize it actually comes down to something deeper: power and control. But I need to take you back to where that came from. When I was 17 years old, I'm a lot older now, but when I was 17 years old, I lost two very important people in my life, but only one of them died. A few months after losing the first, an older man, a family member, tried to use their power over me and offered me money in return to undress. I remember it as clear as day, even if I wish I couldn't. I was offered $1,000 and told that I would get the money if I did what I was asked. I'm so grateful in this moment that my flight or fight kicked in and I got myself out of that room as fast as my feet could carry me. To a lot of people, $1,000 might not sound like a lot of money, but to a young girl who had grown up to a single mother watching struggle and sacrifice, that man knew exactly what he was doing. I realize now from living through this experience and many that followed it in workplaces with men belittling me and power playing me, I never want to be in that position again. I want to be in a position of power, and I share my journey so that other women never have to rely or depend on another person again. I really want you to hear this. You are so much more than what you've survived. So much more. I don't share that to seek pity, draw on your emotions, or inspire you, because it actually won't change your businesses. But I want you to see that was once a very scared, insecure, broken-hearted version of me is now the most powerful, secure, and strongest person I've ever met. I look in the mirror and that's who I see. You must not allow people to rob you of the life you want or make you feel unworthy of your own joy, your own path, your own truth, or put it on hold and hide it behind someday, which I know a lot of people do. Being in this industry is the first time so many of you, like myself, have full control over how much money you make and what you do with your time. And particularly being a woman, we are taught to be humble, obedient, well-mannered, dress nice, show up for and prioritize others, accept less, smile politely, who's heard that one, and take the path laid out for us of lower pay, lower rank, less say. But the thing with creating an extraordinary life is that you cannot afford to be obedient, to move quietly and not prioritize yourself. Can I just get a show of hands who really wants an extraordinary life? Whatever that looks like for you. You can't do it quietly. There will be many lessons you learn on this journey, and what you will discover is the purpose of the valleys before the peaks, the silver linings within the lessons. You'll stop fighting to preserve your limitations. You'll stop wasting energy outlining why you cannot, and rather envisioning how you will. And I will, it's powerful. It's so much more powerful than IQ. Okay, so remember this. You do not need to know more or come from more to keep going and to come out on top, whatever that looks like for you. I have watched people who should have been miles ahead of me give up over and over and over again, but I am still here, and so are you. Everything everything that you think and you speak, it manifests in your life in some capacity. So we need to be aware and protect our energy and just be prepared for that voice of your inner limiting beliefs to not go quietly. It will cry loudly when you begin to surpass it. It will tell you that things are not safe, that everything could go wrong, and it will cloud your judgment. But if you can see beyond this, if you can keep going, one day you will realize that all the pieces came together faster than you thought in a way you never would have imagined, and you'll understand the purpose in everything. You'll see why there was the timeline, what left, and why things stayed. Right now you have power because you've said yes. You've decided that where you come from and what you've gone through up until this point will be what fuels your fire. And I want you to understand that every position has an advantage in life. So work with what you've got, where you currently are, and do not try to be somebody you're not. If you're right at the beginning of your business, who's in their first 6 months? 12? Okay, that's a good amount of people. If you're right at the beginning of your business, I want you to understand that you do need to do a massive amount of volume and activity in your business to build your confidence, to get feedback, to see what works and discover what you enjoy and see where traction happens. Then what you're going to do from there is you're going to focus and dial in on what's working. The issue with doing a little here and there, your feedback loop will be almost zero. You won't know how you like to show up, how to share the products or the business, and you won't build confidence fast. This serious lack of activity right at the start of your business is why most people get disheartened and quit. And it is because so many people are addicted to clarity before commitment without realizing clarity comes from action. I'm not here today to sell you your dream, your why, or the perks of this business. You should already know them. I'm here to help you navigate the journey. First, do not wait for the perfect conditions to start. They don't exist. Starting is the perfect condition. You need to realize you have no experience, you have no credibility, and that's perfectly fine. That is a great place to start. But if you don't start putting yourself out there, how will people see you? How will they know you? How will they like you? How will they want to join you or buy from you? I would love one person to explain to me how that works. You can't. That's why it's silent. People are always watching and they'll let you know when you least expect it. Okay, think of this business like a basketball game. I wouldn't know what the first thing to do is. I'll go to Katina. But people don't show up to watch the ball bounce, okay? They come to watch the players win. They go to watch their favorite player score the shot. In your business, that's exactly who you've got to be. You've got to get You've got to get in the game on the court and show me a journey that looks exciting and fun. Make me want to support you hitting your goals. This is the magic. This is what people are missing. You need to make this look like something I want to be a part of. Many never even get off the bench, okay? And it's because of fear. They're scared of God knows what, and it's addicting. It is a crutch. We can actively remove this fear by understanding a simple law. You can't lose if you keep showing up. And if you're doing enough, the results will show. Adam Sandler said something that really resonated with me when he was getting absolutely slammed. Hate from everywhere, critics tearing his movie apart. He said, "I don't really mind. My intention was never to make movies that critics would love. My intention was never to make people laugh. My intention was to make people laugh. People who actually wanted to see my movies. And if they laughed and it made them happy, that's all that mattered to me." That is the mindset to take into your business. Your intention behind why you started and where you're taking this business is all that matters. And the people that see that and resonate with that are who you show up for. That intention carries through into how you market yourself and the business too. So with marketing, you want two things. You want intention and attention. Once you've got somebody's attention, once their eyes are on you, what is the value driving that intention? What are you actually selling them? Do you even know? The thing about network marketing is that the barrier to entry has never been lower, but neither has the barrier for distraction. So getting people's attention and the right kind of people's attention has become a skill in itself. But I believe when we lead with the right intention, value, and authenticity, we naturally attract and align with people who value the same things. You don't want just anyone joining your business. And team building is such a huge part of what we do. So here's something I recommend that you implement at any stage of your business. Day 1, year 7, Create friction upon entry. It might sound counterintuitive, but it works, because when it's too easy to join, it loses its value, and it's that much easier to quit. Creating friction now saves you a lot of pain later. By putting something between you and the person, you create a filter. I also think of this friction like being the soil for my team, the place where they can plant their dreams and they can grow. And I want this team to be the richest, most fertile, most beautiful garden you've ever seen. But that means protecting it. No negativity, no pests, no bugs. Be fruitful and multiply. Who's heard that? Here's what I hear. If I figured out how to do something, it is now my responsibility to double it, triple it, quadruple it, and then teach others how to do it so that they can then multiply it again. If you're at the beginning of your business, you've already figured out how to do something 99% of people don't do. You've started, you're showing up, you're learning, you're committing. That means that you have something to teach others. It is also your responsibility to start believing in yourself as a leader. Simply staying in your business is not the same as believing in it. And if you've been in the business longer, surviving is not the same as leading. I want to transfer the passion and excitement I have for this business onto you, but also drill into you that sustained expansion requires this constant nourishment inward for yourself and your team. You and those who come into your business deserve to see how good it can get. But understand this, you cannot spell the word deserve without the word serve. Once you start serving others, that's when you become worthy of more and it comes knocking at your door. You cannot fake activity. You cannot cry about results that you're not putting in the work for. And you know, most people actually have overbelief in the vision, but underbelief in their ability to execute it. And the excitement of talking about it and thinking about it, it's just enough to scratch the itch of starting. But that's exactly where they stop. They declare a vision, but never put a plan into motion. We love talking about goals. We love the reactions, the support, the hype, the validation we receive. But that dopamine hit, it doesn't last. If you want real results, stop chasing dopamine and start chasing discipline. Let me ask you something. Do you realize, just by being in this room right now, that you're in proximity to greatness? Look around the room. The people here, sitting in this room, they'll pull more of the real you out, the version of you that you've been keeping quiet inside. They'll encourage you, they'll inspire you, sometimes without even saying a word, because when somebody stands fully in their authenticity, it wakes up the same in you. You do also realize that you now have a seat at the table of a multi-billion-dollar industry, bigger than the sports, film, and music industry combined, right? I want you to see the significance of this moment in time, not as just another conference, or if it's your first, just as a conference, and not look at this business as a little side hustle ever again. This is your turning point, if you decide it to be. It is your turning point. This is the moment you dig your heels in, you draw a line in the sand, and you commit to never giving up. Because I can tell you this, the number of people I've seen quit before they've even really started could fill this entire room. But that's not going to be you, is it?